Is this the end of the governing bodies? The
Just
belt
the end,
holders?
stuff. This is the end of everything.
Riyadhseason called a meeting of all the promoters.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, we all need to work together.
I think we're talking about him taking over everything, realistically, but
On the flip side, let's look at the Anthony Yard situation, yeah?
could be worth between 4 and 5 billion and rival the UFC possibly.
Yeah.
Is it good though?
If you're not good enough, you're getting found out now. You can't hide anymore. What happens if the tap gets turned off? This is something that I've been thinking of, and it feels like there's almost a play from Saudi and trying to eliminate some of the government bodies because they're trying to set up these undisputed fights, and it's almost like here's an extra zero, make the fight happen, and it's almost like a forward investment. We saw again today on the press conference that they've brought out a new belt. I believe it's a new belt. I didn't see anything. I didn't see any WBC on there or anything like that. But the winner gets this belt, a Saudi belt. If we do these undisputed fights in each weight category, let's get the heavyweights done first. You don't need the governing bodies.
In the UAE, some of the guys have like oil money in deep pockets and whatnot. They could do what they want. The world is their playground.
In today's episode, the big Saudi takeover continues with Turki Alalshikh and a rumoured Super League for boxing. Baz, what does this mean?
Effectively, Sam, it's the end.
The end of the... Is this the end of the governing bodies?
It's
The
just
belt
the end,
holders?
Sam. This is the end of everything. There's going to be no bloodlust boxing anymore. You know, we're just going to be bought out.
But look, if Turki Alalshikh wants to buy us out, just, it doesn't have to be a lot of zeros.
just at least 6.
Six zeros? Yeah, 6.
You'd take that, wouldn't you?
I'll take 6.
How could you, Sam? How could you sell us out?
I love boxing. I love it. No, we're not for sale.
Why are you winking?
No, I'm not winking. As I said, we're not for sale.
You did it again.
No, seriously. Like, we're not for sale.
Anyway, getting back to it.
All right, Baz, you got
Turki Alalshikh could
You
be
got a little-
launching a new league, effectively bringing in Matchroom, Golden Boy Promotions, and possibly all under one roof with some others. So a new league could be worth between 4 and 5 billion and rival the UFC possibly.
Yeah,
Is it good though?
I guess the first question will it happen? And I can't see.
Well, we said it, Sub. What did we say?
No, we said. And actually, go back, check our videos. We actually did a video on this way before everyone else saying that,
maybe we'll link it to this one.
is this the end of the governing bodies? And basically, it's like a follow-up to it because before anyone was even talking about it, we were saying, well, he's come in. Is the next step to get rid of the belts? Obviously, Turki Alalshikh was putting on these big fights. He was getting the heavyweights moving, and he was helping to make some of these unifications happen.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, actually, he's doing that already, and then he's producing like this unified belt.
Yeah.
What does that mean for all the other belts?
This is it. The plot thickens.
I think it was after that video that Riyadhseason called a meeting of all the promoters.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, we all need to work together. It's time we start working together, making the big fights happen. Yeah, funny that Riyadhseason. Yeah, well, you weren't doing that before, though, were you? You weren't, were you? So...
He wasn't. And did you see the other day, actually, he was like proper in the ring, just trying to make sure he shakes everyone's hand, like gets in the limelight.
Stay relevant, yeah. For those of you who don't know, Riyadhseason is one of the heads of the WBC, which is one of the belts. There's 4 main belts: the IBF, WBC, WBA, WBO. Well, under those different bodies, you got different weights, obviously, and then you got Proper did a good video, didn't he? On this subject. There's so many belts. So many different types of belts. So
it was like 130 odds or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there was like 1,000 champions or something. The figures were crazy. Yeah. So look, is it a good thing that this is happening, Baz? What do you think? Like, what do you think is going to happen, and is it a good thing it's going to happen?
I don't think he's going to take over entirely from these boxing promoters.
So let's make it clear, because you've got the promoters, like Queensbury, Matchroom, Golden Boy, Al Heyman, PBC, blah blah blah, and then you've got the belts, the governing bodies. Like, are we talking about him taking over both, one or the others? Like what?
I mean,
what are we talking about?
I think we're talking about him taking over everything, realistically. But I mean,
But
it happens. I mean, look at it in a real life situation. Yeah.
After that, I'd be like, then the world.
Yeah.
My plan is to take over boxing, and then I would take over the world. No, sorry.
What are we doing tomorrow night, Pinky?
Same thing we do every night. The pink. Sorry.
Yeah. What do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Pinky in the brain reference. If you look at a real world situation, say for instance Amazon, yeah, going in hot tub, Amazon are taking over so many companies, and all these smaller companies are struggling. And is that going to be the same situation with this? I don't know if it's a good thing. One big conglomerate company taking over all these promoters. I know we're going to see fight, but then I don't know. That's too much power. Too much power.
Look, the best example I've got now. Yeah.
So
first of all, before I get into that, I want to get into the positives, because we can't say. Let's start with the positive, because what we've been seeing the last couple of months has been amazing. These big fights, these big cards,
definitely.
These big investments, like the promos. And I saw something actually when I was looking for like some references earlier, but yeah, Turki Alalshikh he's got an IMDb listing.
Oh, what for the trailer?
No, what he's got like a biography. Turki Alalshikh, born 4th of August 1981, is a producer, executive producer, distinguished Saudi poet, lyricist, writer, and dramatist. Yeah. So I'm guessing this is where like all the big promos are coming from, because if he's got that background in his locker as well, that helps. So like all of that stuff is all positive. We're loving seeing his fights, like these big events.
Why can't it continue the way it is?
So that is great. He's got things moving. There was the question marks. Who's the top heavyweight out there? Now we know, yeah. And we're like, was Wilder like, should he be up there with all the legends? Now we know that probably. I mean, that probably needs to be a separate conversation. But before Turki Alalshikh came along, there was a lot of question marks there. People, if you're not good enough, you're getting found out now. So you can't hide anymore. So that's a good thing. But on the flip side, let's look at the Anthony Yarde situation, yeah? You got Queensbury and Matchroom. They were loggerheads for ages. Now they come together, great fights happening.
Yeah.
But what happens to that fighter? Anthony Yarde, he's obviously fallen out with Frankwarren, and he's a great
I hear you.
You see where I'm going with this?
You're basically saying, where's he going now? Like,
where does he go now?
If all the promoters are working together.
Yeah. So
who's he going to?
You know, Eddiehearn's not gonna get involved in that area, even if the contract situation was sorted out and they broke amicably. He's not gonna want to ruffle the feathers with Frankwarren. So so he's not gonna. So that potentially good fighter is out the way now. And thinking of it on a bigger scale, you've got Turki Alalshikh. If he had full control of everything,
and you PM off, and then
exactly. It's all good when you get
the same. It's the same situation with UFC at the moment with Dana White. Realistically, if you don't like it, like I mean, a lot of fighters are not happy with how much they're getting paid.
Yeah, I mean, look at Ngannou.
And look where they resorted to.
Ngannou left the UFC to get paid more.
This is it. I mean, there are little spin-off leagues and things like that, and little competitions, but it's not the same as the big companies like that. So competition
is good.
Yeah. I think it should stay the way it is now. Where
I like it. Keep it the same.
I like.
I like. Yeah, you knew I was going with that, but
yeah.
Yeah. I like the idea of like a super league, and I think that worked well, and I think the time that the belts was almost up, because you've got some fighters who are just like, it means nothing to them now. Because it's like a 3% fee that they have to pay for the belts, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
if you're not getting paid a lot,
fee.
By the time you pay your coaches, your staff, your training team.
Yeah, I would imagine if you've got to the top, then
unless you're earning millions.
Yeah, and even then, you really want to pay 3%, but
it starts adding up, and that's to each governing body. So
exactly. And let's say exactly. So if you're going for that unified position, so that's 3% on every single belt. Like it adds up, doesn't it? right?
Yeah.
And then there's situations where you're forced into a mandatory where it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's other situations where the mandatories aren't coming or they're not happening for guys who probably should be fighting for the belts. So I think the time is the end is near.
And on that bleak note.
So Baz, do you think then that your Eddie Hearns, your Frank Warrens will sell up to Turki Alalshikh?
No. I think an agreement will come to place to allow these big fights to happen the way they've been happening now. A Super League may be formed, but I don't think it's going to include all the promoters in terms of them being bought out and then Turki Alalshikh deciding how it goes like that. I think they'll have to be
working together somehow.
Working together, how it's been going like now with Frank and Eddie. And listen, money brings everyone together, so I'm sure Boxer will get involved. I'm sure these other little fighting promoters will get involved just to make sure that their fighters get paid. And I don't know. It's a tough one.
The question would be, like, me looking at like a side way around it. Let's say I own Matchroom, and I sell it to Turki Alalshikh, and you got Frank Warren, he sells Queensbury to Turki Alalshikh. Who's to say that Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren don't go and set up a new business later on and a new promotion outfit and, you know, poach back fighters and whatever, and so you've just made a whole load of money selling.
I mean, good luck competing with his bankroll.
But I don't think it will happen. I don't think the promoters will sell up. Maybe one or two might. You might get one or two who might be like Frank Warren. Maybe will think, actually, it's nice retirement. We'll take the money.
But he's got his sons to pass the company down to.
Yeah, they might be involved in some sort of managerial way, some sort of advisors or something. Who's to say if they're given like sort of top positions working for Turki Alalshikh that they won't take it? But I could see something like that. I mean, I can't see Eddie Hearn selling up, not yet anyway. And maybe later down the line, but Golden Boy, Al Heyman, I don't see that happening. And then, but with regards to the belts, I can see a situation whereby they get squeezed out and they're no longer relevant because they've been watered down so much now.
That's true.
It's like if you ask your man on the street, do you know who the champion is? Well, if you say heavyweight now, they'll say Alexander Usyk probably. But with regards to the other weights, they won't have a clue. And then if there's multiple champions for a weight, then again it just makes it more muddier. So I think the belts will shrink down, if not disappear eventually. So that's it. That's if Turki Alalshikh keeps pumping money in.
I'd be right.
And then the only danger then is what happens if the tap gets turned off, and that was another thing we raised in that video back then. What happens if we suddenly say, hang on a minute,
the oil rig runs dry?
Yes, yeah. What do we do then? And then where does that leave? Where would that leave boxing? Because it would be in a very...
I know where it would leave Man City anyway.
The footy soccer team for the US fans. That's another question mark there. So, or some sort of regulation came in place. Maybe you might see some sort of government regulation getting involved.
Some sort of financial fair play.
But anyway, we're going off on a tangent. We're just throwing a few things out there. What do you guys think? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? We know we're getting the good fights. We like it. It's all amazing. We're just looking at it from all kind of angles, basically.
Let us know down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And peace and love.